very different movie than any of the others you've worked on before. How does directing dance sequences and musical numbers compare with doing fight scenes and action sequences?
Well, actually, the first few productions I ever did, as I started with music videos. So I'm more familiar with the world actually than you might think, and even I've forgotten that actually. But I was surprised when I was making it. I thought, I'm pretty comfortable with this, and I wasn't intimidated by the whole sort of traditional theatrical musical component, which even I thought I would have been. But then I remembered this somehow sounds very familiar, and that's why.
I'm glad you forgot, because I feel less embarrassed for not noticing. Aladdin has a lot in common with characters from some of your other movies, like Lock, Stock, and Snatch. How do you think he might fit in those two movies?
Well, I would have thought rather well. I mean, it's a different world.
Right.
The characters are essentially the same. I suppose that's in no small part why I was interested in the movie, is that it had enough familiar ground there, and also I've got 5 kids, so it means that all as I watch is kind of family movies anyway. So, but it was a question of fusing those two worlds. But that's principally why I wanted to make it.
Okay. Opposite question: how many wishes do you think Jason Statham would get out of the genie?
That's quite funny. I spoke to Statham this morning actually. I imagine he managed to squeeze a few out of there, wouldn't he?
What did you learn from early test screenings that perhaps impacted the final cut of this film?
I don't think any actually. I think the useful thing about making a film that's already been made before is it works. So we had the advantage of a DNA that we know works. So we only had one test screening, I think, and I think it just confirmed what we already knew, really.
Okay. What particular sequence or song or element of the original film were you most looking forward to adapting for this version?
Well, curiously, I can only remember the last thing I did. Right. So Jamal Sims, who was my choreographer, he constructed a dance sequence at the end, which I have to tell you I adored, mm-hmm. and it still leaves me with a sort of smile on my face at the end. Mm-hmm. So not only do you finish the story, but there's that little dance sequence at the end. It just leaves me feeling uncynical about the world.
Were you a Disney fan as a kid?
Yeah, I was. But if there was a title, it would have been Aladdin.
Well,
because it was kind of familiar, right? I mean, I know why, because I think he's the only street kind of kid in the kind of Disney lexicon, I think, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Unless you count Oliver and Company.
Right. So, anyway, that was the principal reason. So I felt comfortable there, but also because I'm just up to my eyeballs in family movies anyway, because of the kids.
Mm-hmm.